close your eyes. Just for a moment, let the present second slip away. There is no need to hold on to it. The weight of the day, the pressure of the clock, the endless list of what was and what will be, let it all soften. Let it dissolve into the quiet hum of the background. You are not early. You are exactly where you need to be. Now, open your mind's eye and see it. The pendulum. Its slow, majestic arc through the darkness. Or the hourglass. Its celestial sand flowing in a silent, endless stream. This is time. Not as a taskmaster, but as a phenomenon. A fundamental, beautiful, and deeply mysterious part of our existence that we are so deeply immersed in, we rarely stop to simply feel its current. We spend our lives chasing time. We try to save it, to manage it, to relive it, to fast forward through it. We see it as a linear path, a one-way street leading from a fading past to an uncertain future, with ourselves trapped in a fleeting, speeding present. But what if that is only an illusion? A limited perspective, like a fish that does not know it is wet. This journey we begin tonight is not about chasing time. It is not about building a machine to revisit yesterday or to preview tomorrow. Our goal is far more profound and far more peaceful. We are not here to conquer time, but to understand our relationship with it, to listen to its rhythms, to question its true nature, and perhaps, in doing so, to find a deep and lasting rest within its embrace. For if we can see time not as a river sweeping us away, but as an ocean in which we float, then the very concept of rushing simply ceases to make sense. On this voyage, we will become explorers of the fourth dimension. We will drift through the elegant, warped geometry of Einstein's universe, where time stretches and compresses like taffy in the hands of gravity and motion. We will dive into the quantum foam, where the very concepts of before and after may break down into a sea of possibilities. We will ponder the arrow of time and why we remember the past, but not the future. And we will contemplate the most modern and mind-bending theories, closed time-like curves, emergent time, and the holographic principle that suggest our entire reality might be a complex, beautiful projection. But remember, this is not a race to an answer. This is a gentle drift into wonder. There will be no exams, no pressure to understand the mathematics. The only requirement is your curiosity and your willingness to let go. So, find your breath. Sync it with the slow, hypnotic swing of the pendulum. With each inhalation, draw in a moment of the future. With each exhalation, release a moment into the past. The present is the infinitesimal point between the two, the silent, still hinge on which the great pendulum swings. Allow the visuals to wash over you. Let the music be the gravitational field that holds you in this state of calm attention. There is nowhere else you need to be. Nothing else you need to be doing. You are a temporal being, about to explore the fabric of temporality itself. And the greatest discovery you might make tonight is not about the physics of the cosmos, but about the peace that can be found when you finally stop fighting the flow, and instead allow yourself to be carried by it. Let us begin our journey, not forward, not backward, but inward, into the heart of the moment. As we drift away from the metaphorical pendulum, we begin our journey into the first and most profound truth about time. A truth that shattered the classical world and revealed a universe far more fluid and interconnected than anyone had ever dreamed. We are entering the realm of relativity. For centuries, time was thought to be absolute, a universal metronome, ticking at the same steady beat for everyone, everywhere. A second for you was a second for me, whether we were on Earth, on the moon, or racing on a beam of light. It was a comforting, rigid structure. but it was an illusion. A young patent clerk named Albert Einstein dared to imagine a different reality. He asked a simple, revolutionary question. What if the speed of light is the only true constant? What if everything else, space, and indeed time itself, must bend and flex to accommodate this cosmic speed limit? This is the heart of special relativity. Imagine, if you will, our silent spacecraft. It begins to accelerate, smoothly and effortlessly, faster and faster, until it is cruising at an immense fraction of the speed of light. Now, from our perspective, watching from a stationary point, something miraculous happens. We would observe the clocks on that spacecraft beginning to slow down. The astronauts' movements would become a slow, graceful ballet. Their heartbeats would stretch into deep, resonant drums. Time itself, within that vessel, is dilating. It is stretching like warm taffy. This is not a mechanical error. It is a fundamental property of the universe. The faster you move through space, the slower you move through time. For the astronauts on board, everything would feel normal. Their clocks would tick at their usual pace. It is only from the outside that we see the distortion. They are living in a slightly different now than we are. And this is not just a thought experiment. It is a daily reality for the GPS satellites orbiting our planet. These satellites are moving so quickly relative to the Earth's surface that their onboard clocks fall behind by about 7 microseconds each day due to special relativity. If we did not constantly correct for this, our navigation systems would fail within minutes, guiding us astray by kilometers. Our world, in its hyper-connected modernity, literally runs on the fact that time is not absolute. But Einstein did not stop there. He realized that gravity is not a mysterious force reaching across space, but a curvature in the very fabric of space-time itself. This is general relativity. Think of space-time as that vast, silken sheet we imagined earlier. A massive object, like our Earth, creates a deep dimple in this sheet. Now, imagine 2 clocks. One is here with us, deep within this gravitational well on the planet's surface. The other is placed higher up, on a mountain peak, where the dimple is less deep, or on a satellite, where the fabric is almost flat. The incredible truth is this: the clock in the weaker gravity, higher up, will tick faster than the clock down here. Gravity doesn't just pull on matter, it pulls on time itself. The stronger the gravity, the more time slows down. At the surface of a neutron star, time crawls. At the event horizon of a black hole, from our perspective, it appears to stop entirely. Scientists measure this effect with astonishing precision. They use ultra-sensitive atomic clocks and can detect the difference in the passage of time between the floor of a laboratory and a tabletop. This is the real, measurable phenomenon of gravitational time dilation, sometimes called gravitational redshift. Your head is literally aging faster than your feet, by an infinitesimally small but very real amount. So, we find ourselves floating in a cosmic ocean where both motion and gravity are the currents that shape the flow of time. There is no single universal now. There are only relative nows depending on where you are and how you are moving. Time is not a rigid stream, but a soft, malleable medium, a pillow that can be compressed and stretched by the universe itself. And from this soft, relative reality, our minds can drift into a state of wonder and ask, what if? The state of deep sleep is a form of neurological relativity. When our conscious mind retreats, and the brain waves slow into the deep, rhythmic pulses of delta waves, what if we are, in a sense, creating our own gravitational well within the fabric of our consciousness? A place where the subjective flow of time is decoupled from the frantic ticking of the external clock. In this state, a few hours can feel like a moment, or a single dream can feel like an entire lifetime. What if the brain, in its restful state, is not just processing memories, but is actually experiencing time in a fundamentally different, dilated way, allowing for the vast, intricate landscapes of our dreams to unfold in what would be, to the waking world, a mere instant. And what if the profound peace we feel in meditation or in the moments before sleep is the mental equivalent of achieving a stable orbit? A state where we are no longer fighting the currents of space-time, but have found a perfect, balanced trajectory, allowing the noise of the world to redshift into a distant, quiet hum. It is not a cold, hard fact, but a gentle liberation. The clock on the wall is a useful fiction. The true time, your time, is a soft, personal thing shaped by your motion and your place in the universe. It is a rhythm that is uniquely yours. So, as you feel yourself drifting deeper into relaxation, know that you are also drifting into your own personal space-time, a place where you can finally let go of the world's relentless tempo and sink into the slow, gentle, and relative flow of your own existence. In our last journey, we discovered that time is soft, a flexible fabric that stretches and compresses. But it always seems to flow in one direction. We remember the past, but not the future. We see an egg splatter on the floor, but we never see it reassemble itself. A cup of coffee mixes with milk, but never unmixes. This relentless one-way flow is what we call the arrow of time. It is the most familiar aspect of our existence, and yet it is the most perplexing. The fundamental laws of physics, the rules governing particles and forces, are almost entirely time-symmetric. They work just as well if time runs forward or backward. So, why does our universe possess such a powerful, undeniable direction? Why does time have an arrow at all? The most intuitive answer comes from the second law of thermodynamics, and it is known as the thermodynamic arrow of time. This law states that in an isolated system, entropy, a measure of disorder, of randomness, always increases. The universe is moving from a state of order to a state of disorder. Think of a sandcastle on the beach. Left alone, the wind and waves will scatter the sand, erasing the intricate structure. The sand will never spontaneously arrange itself back into a castle. This is entropy at work. Your own life is a constant battle against local entropy. You clean your room, you organize your files, you build structures, all creating pockets of order. But to do so, you expend energy, and in the process, you create even more disorder elsewhere. Heat, waste, increasing the total entropy of the universe. The shattered glass does not reassemble. The perfume molecules diffusing in a room will not all spontaneously return to the bottle. This ever-increasing tide of disorder gives time its direction. It is the reason we have a past that is distinct from the future. But is this the deepest answer? Some physicists are now looking into the quantum realm for a more fundamental cause. This leads us to the quantum arrow of time. At the heart of quantum mechanics lies a spooky phenomenon called entanglement. Two particles can become linked or entangled, sharing a single, unified quantum state. What happens to one instantly influences the other, no matter the distance. But this delicate connection is fragile. When a quantum system interacts with its environment, a process called decoherence, this entanglement breaks. The particles forget their shared connection and become independent. Crucially, this process of decoherence is, like the shattering of a glass, fundamentally irreversible. The entangled information is lost into the environment, scattered and dispersed, much like the perfume molecules. It is a one-way street. The continuous, relentless dissolution of quantum entanglement throughout the universe may be the microscopic engine that drives the macroscopic arrow of time. It is as if the universe is constantly measuring itself, and with each measurement, the quantum possibilities collapse into a single, classical past, propelling us forward into an open future. There is a third, more subtle arrow, discovered in the delicate dance of particle physics. This is the arrow defined by CP violation. In the early moments of the Big Bang, matter and antimatter should have been created in equal amounts, and they should have annihilated each other, leaving behind a universe of pure energy. But we live in a universe made of matter. Why? Experiments have revealed a tiny fundamental asymmetry in the laws of physics. The laws treat particles and their antimatter counterparts slightly differently, and they also treat them differently when their spatial coordinates are reversed, as in a mirror. This charge parity violation, or CP violation, is a fundamental lopsidedness in the fabric of reality. This asymmetry is thought to be the reason why a tiny excess of matter survived the Great Annihilation. And because this process is inherently directional, it imprinted a direction onto time itself from the very first moments of the cosmos. It set the stage for the universe we know, a universe where time has a clear and irreversible past, present, and future. So, we find ourselves living in a cosmos where time's arrow is forged by the irreversible increase of disorder, the irreversible breaking of quantum connections, and a fundamental, primordial asymmetry written into the laws of existence. And from this understanding of time's relentless, one-way flow, we can turn our gaze inward and ask a deeply personal, what if? What if the profound states of deep meditation or the timeless feeling of flow are moments when our brain's internal entropy actually decreases? When the chaotic, disordered chatter of the mind, the random thoughts, the anxieties about the future, the echoes of the past begins to quiet, to organize, and to achieve a state of serene, coherent focus. In such a state, the internal psychological arrow of time might weaken. The constant mental processing that creates our sense of a linear, rushing timeline could slow to a crawl. This could be why, in deep meditation, minutes can feel like hours, and the incessant push from past to future is replaced by an expansive, peaceful, and eternal now. We are not stopping time, but we are, for a moment, creating a local pocket of mental order so profound that it alters our very perception of time's arrow. And what if the feeling of peace we get from a tidy room or a well-organized space is not just psychological, but a deep, instinctual resonance with the thermodynamic arrow? We are creating a small, local victory against disorder, and our consciousness recognizes and rewards this temporary reversal of entropy's tide, giving us a sense of control and calm in a universe that is otherwise sliding into chaos. So, as you lie here listening, feel the weight of this knowledge. The arrow of time is not your enemy, rushing you toward an end. It is the very current that makes existence, memory, and experience possible. It is the cosmic breath that allows for a story to be told. And in those precious moments when you find stillness, you are not fighting the universe. You are simply finding a quiet eddy in the great river, a place to rest, to breathe, and to simply be as the timeless flow of entropy carries the universe, and you gently forward. We have felt time bend under gravity and motion. We have pondered the great arrow that gives our lives a narrative flow. But now, we must venture to the very frontier of understanding, to a realm so small that the very concepts we rely on, before and after, begin to fray and lose their meaning. We are descending now into the quantum realm to ask the most fundamental question of all: what is time when no one is looking? At our human scale, time appears smooth and continuous, a flowing river. But is it? When we examine matter and energy, we find they are not infinitely divisible. They come in discrete packets or quanta, photons, electrons, quarks. So if everything else is granular, could space-time itself be made of fundamental grains? This is the profound proposition of loop quantum gravity. This theory suggests that space is not a smooth continuum, but is woven from a fabric of tiny, finite loops. These loops form a network, a spin foam, a dynamic, buzzing structure that is the foundation of reality. And if space is quantized, then time must be quantized as well. In this view, time does not flow like a river. It ticks. It progresses in the smallest possible increments, known as Planck time. Each tick is a fundamental, discrete step in the evolution of the spin foam. Imagine watching a film where the frames are not 24 per second, but an unimaginable 10^43 frames per second. The illusion of smooth motion would be perfect. This is our reality. We are living inside a cosmic movie whose frame rate is so high, we perceive it as a continuous, unbroken timeline. But at the most fundamental level, time might be a series of quantum jumps, a cosmic stop-motion animation of reality itself. This leads us to an even more radical idea, one that challenges the very primacy of time. What if time is not a fundamental ingredient of the universe at all? What if it is an emergent phenomenon? Consider the concept of temperature. A single atom does not have a temperature. Temperature is a property that emerges from the collective, statistical dance of trillions of atoms. It is a useful, high-level description of something more fundamental. Theories like string theory and some interpretations of quantum mechanics suggest that time might be the same. The true fundamental description of the universe may be timeless, a static, vast and complex geometry. In this view, the flow of time we experience is an illusion generated by the complex correlations and interactions between countless quantum particles. It emerges from the universe's increasing complexity and the growth of quantum entanglement, much like the arrow of time emerges from increasing entropy. We, as complex systems ourselves, are embedded in this network of correlations. Our consciousness, our memories, our perception of cause and effect are all part of this grand, emergent illusion. We are like a flame, perceiving itself as a continuous entity, while in truth it is a process, a pattern forever in flux, giving rise to the sensation of a past and a future from a reality that is, in a sense, eternally present. So, we are left with two breathtaking possibilities: that time is a silent, incredibly rapid series of quantum clicks, or that it is a magnificent, collective illusion, a story the universe tells itself. And from this precipice of modern physics, where time itself dissolves into abstraction, our minds can wander into the deepest realms of what if. What if the dream state is a mode of consciousness where the brain, freed from the rigid task of processing a continuous way in a more discrete of sensory input, dips its toes into the quantum nature of time? The bizarre, non-logical and jump-cut nature of dreams, where you are in one place and suddenly in another, where characters transform without reason, could be a faint, subjective echo of the brain perceiving reality in a more discrete, less continuous way. In dreams, perhaps we are not bound by the smooth, emergent narrative of waking time, and we experience a consciousness closer to the true, granular, quantum ticks of the universe. And what if the phenomenon of a life flashing before one's eyes in a moment of peril is not just a memory dump, but something far more profound? As the brain approaches a state of shutdown, the highly complex emergent structure that creates our illusion of a linear timeline begins to destabilize. The intricate web of correlations that creates now, before, and after starts to unravel. In this dissolution, the timeline of a life could lose its sequential order. Past, present, and potential futures might all coexist in a single, timeless quantum state. A final, panoramic emergence before the conscious mind, born from time, returns to the timeless ground from which it came. Feel the weight of this, not as a burden, but as a liberation. The river of time is not just bending. At its source, it may not be a river at all, but a shower of diamond-like moments or a timeless, still ocean. The pressure to always be moving forward, to be productive in every second, begins to soften when you consider that the seconds themselves may be an illusion. So, as you drift closer to sleep, allow your own sense of time to dissolve. Let the smooth narrative of your day break apart into disjointed images and thoughts. Do not try to force them into a sequence. You are not losing time. You are, perhaps, touching a deeper layer of reality. You are returning, for a little while, to the quiet, granular, or perhaps timeless substrate of existence, where the great cosmic movie is at rest between frames, and all possibilities are still, peacefully, asleep. We have journeyed to the edge of understanding, where time itself may be granular or an emergent illusion. Now, we arrive at our final contemplative destination, the possibility of time travel itself. Not in the fantastical sense of a gleaming machine, but as a natural, though extreme, consequence of the cosmos's own laws. And the most beautiful part? Modern physics provides us with pathways that elegantly sidestep the terrifying paradoxes of our grandfathers. Our first path is written in the language of Einstein's gravity, the closed, time-like curve, in the dense, warped space-time around a massively rotating black hole. Or in the hypothetical fabric of a cosmic string. The equations of general relativity suggest that the path of an object through space-time could curve so severely that it loops back on itself. This is a closed, time-like curve, a path through the universe that, while always moving forward in time from your own perspective, eventually brings you back to a point in your own past. Imagine walking on a vast, cosmic Möbius strip. You walk and walk, always forward, and yet you find yourself back at the beginning. A closed, time-like curve is similar, but for time itself. There is no machine, no leap. You are simply following the natural, if incredibly twisted, contours of reality. The universe, in these exotic locales, provides a road that is a loop. The past is not a distant country. It is simply the next bend in a road you are already traveling. But what of the paradox? If you go back and prevent your own journey, how could you have ever gone back? Here, physics offers a breathtakingly elegant solution, the causal loop. In this model, there is no first cause. The events in the loop are their own cause. There is no origin point. Think of a piece of music where the final chord is also the first chord, creating an infinite, self-consistent loop. The universe simply demands consistency. Anything you do in the past must already be a part of the timeline that led to you going back in the first place. You were always there. The loop is, and always was, complete. If general relativity offers a cosmic highway, quantum mechanics offers a subtler, more ghostly form of time travel, quantum time travel. This is not about sending a person, or even a particle, back in time. It is about manipulating the state of a particle. In groundbreaking experiments, physicists have used the principles of quantum entanglement and post-selection to effectively send a photon's quantum identity, its specific state of being, backwards in time. They don't send the photon itself. They arrange the universe so that the photon behaves as if its current state was influenced by a measurement that will happen in its future. It is a cosmic sleight of hand where cause and effect become blurred, and information seems to ripple backwards, all without violating the laws of physics because no classical, measurable information is actually transmitted. The ultimate paradox killer, however, may lie in the most radical interpretation of quantum mechanics, the many worlds interpretation. In this view, every quantum event causes the universe to branch. Every possibility is realized. If you were to build a machine and travel to the past, you are not traveling to your own past. The moment you arrive, you cause a branch. You step into a new, parallel universe, nearly identical to your own, but now one where your presence has created a new, divergent timeline. In this vast, infinite library of realities, every possible past is accessible, and every action you take simply writes a new volume in the endless collection. There is no paradox because you are not changing history. You are visiting a different history altogether. So, the universe provides not one, but three potential keys to time travel: a cosmic loop, a quantum whisper, or a step into a parallel world. And from this landscape of profound possibility, our what-if questions can touch the very core of our daily experience. What if? The uncanny feeling of déjà vu is not a glitch in your memory, but a fleeting moment of resonance between your consciousness and the consciousness of a you, in a nearly identical parallel universe. In that split second, the timelines sync, and you feel the faint echo of an event that is, at that exact moment, happening to another version of you in a neighboring branch of the multiverse. It is not a memory of your past, but a simultaneous experience with a parallel present. And what if the deep, intuitive pull we sometimes call fate or destiny is not an external force, but the subtle, psychological influence of a causal loop within our own lives? What if our strongest intuitions and most powerful sense of purpose are echoes from our own future, rippling backwards along the curved space-time of our personal trajectory? A decision you make today feels destined because, in a way, it has already been made by the person you are becoming, and its consequence is what shapes the path that leads you to become them. Your future self is, in a very real sense, helping to guide you. Let this knowledge settle over you, not as a scientific curiosity, but as a comfort. The universe is far more strange, interconnected, and flexible than we can perceive. The linear, cause and effect world we navigate is a simplified version of a much deeper, richer, and more circular reality. As you drift towards sleep, consider that your dreams tonight might be a form of personal time travel. A journey through the causal loops of your memory, a resonance with parallel selves, or a quantum exploration of possibilities. There are no paradoxes here, only exploration. There is no linear pressure, only the soft, looping piece of a universe that is, in its deepest nature, a tapestry of infinite beginnings and endless, self-consistent stories. And so, dear traveler, our journey through the corridors of time draws to a close. We have ventured far from the familiar shore of the ticking clock. We rested on the soft pillow of relativity, learning that time is not a rigid master, but a malleable companion, stretching and compressing with our motion and our place in the gravitational tapestry of the cosmos. We saw that a second is not always a second, and that the universe is filled with countless, personal, relative nows. We then followed the unwavering arrow of time, discovering how the inevitable rise of entropy, the dissolution of quantum entanglement, and a primordial asymmetry written into the heart of matter itself give our lives a narrative flow, a direction from memory into possibility. We understood that this arrow is not a prison, but the very current that allows for story, for growth, and for change. We dove deep into the quantum fabric of time itself, to a realm where the smooth river of time breaks into a shower of discrete, glittering moments, and where the very flow we experience might be a magnificent, collective illusion emerging from a timeless, fundamental reality. We stood at the precipice where time itself may dissolve into a sea of pure potential. And finally, we contemplated the most mind-bending of possibilities, the closed, time-like curve and quantum fate. We saw how the universe might provide its own cosmic loops and parallel branches, offering paths through time that are not paradoxical, but simply consistent. From the vast, warped geometry of space-time to the frantic dance of the quantum foam, one truth has emerged, clearer and more beautiful with each step. Whether time is an illusion, an emergent phenomenon, or a series of infinitely small quantum jumps, its greatest miracle is that it provides a stage for this. For the in-breath you just took, for the soft weight of your body resting, for the quiet darkness behind your eyelids. This present moment, the only moment we ever truly possess, is not a fleeting speck on a relentless line. It is a profound and personal event in the cosmos. It is your unique quantum jump within eternity. A point where the entire universe, the past with all its causes, the future with all its potentials, converges into the single, sacred experience of being. So, as our ship of thought gently docks back into the harbor of your room, it is time to let it all go. Release the stretched space-time, the rising entropy, the spinning quantum loops. There is no need to hold on to them. They will be here, always, the silent mechanics of the beautiful dream we call reality. Now, feel the bed beneath you. Feel the gentle rise and fall of your chest. This breath, the one you are taking right now, is the center of the universe. This moment is the event horizon of your consciousness. Allow your awareness to soften and blur at the edges. Let the distinctions between past, present, and future melt away. You are returning to a state of pure awareness, unburdened by time. For as you cross the threshold into sleep, consider this. Dreaming is perhaps the most intimate and liberated form of time travel we will ever know. In your dreams, you will not be bound by relativity or causality. You can revisit the past not to change it, but to understand it. You can preview futures that are yet to be written. You can wander through parallel versions of your own life. You can exist in a state where time is entirely your own creation, a liquid landscape shaped by memory, hope, and the quiet whispers of your soul. There are no paradoxes here, no rules, only exploration. So, let go. Surrender to the current. Allow the universe to carry you into its most mysterious and personal dimension. The journey through time is over. The journey into the timeless is about to begin. Good night.